leaving the bus station. Welcome one and all to the world-famous San Diego Zoo. This is the Lighter Side Tour. My name is Chris. I will be a guy who talks the entire thing. I'm a stand-up comic as well as being a zoo aficionado. I am not behind the wheel. They have Rachel drive the bus, the person who keeps you safe. How about a round of applause for Rachel, your actual driver? You should be very happy. They never let me drive, not since I actually took a group to Mexico. We had a ball. It was the best tour they ever had. We had sombreros. We had gum. Everybody got a picture on the donkey painted to look like a zebra. It was very nice. Very nice. But let's talk about what we're going to see. At least 55 minutes long. Everything we see, we'll talk about. Even things we can't see, we'll get to. I'll make sure you guys get all the information you ever wanted to get. Ready? Let's start with the animals. You didn't come here to hear jokes. Let's talk about some animals. Coming up on the right-hand side, we're looking for our flamingos of Briar's Flamingo Lagoon. Now look carefully. We got baby flamingos, but you got to look underneath the moms and dads out there. You'll see little tiny white birds. Isn't that cute? Right there. Right there. See that? About 25 to 30 days old right now. That's as cute as you get. And that's what flamingos look like when they start off their lives. They're all white birds, and then they turn pink out in the wild if they eat enough shrimp. There's a chemical inside the shrimp shell that changes the bird's feather colors from white to pink. But here at the San Diego Zoo, it was kind of expensive feeding birds shrimp every day. We found out that sprinkling a harmless food coloring called Roxanthin Red on their food will change their feather color the exact same way. And if you want to save more money, this is true. You can actually use paprika. Little pinches. I'm not making this up. You can put paprika. Okay, it's true. All right. We'll move forward here a couple of feet. We'll stop the bus before we go down the hill, and then I will prattle on to you about all the stuff that we cannot see. Okay? If you came to the zoo to see the monkeys, apes, gorillas, primates, all down the road on the right. That road is Bird and Primate Mesa. And we'll stop right over here and watch these people get angry because they're blocking their walkway. How are you, folks? How are you? Oh, a little bit further, right near the lion. We'll stop there. How's that? That'll be a little easier for them. All right. A lot of people give me complaints. My favorite complaint, I hear this all the time, usually from guys from the East Coast. I'll do my best to do the accent justice. They say, I went over to see your monkeys. When I went to see your primates, they were very antisocial. You have antisocial monkeys. Well, there's a reason why the primates are not very friendly. When people go to see them, they always do the same thing. They go to the enclosure, they look at them square in the eyes with both eyes, and they start talking at them to get their attention. Hey, how you doing, monkeys? Hello, how are you, monkeys? Now, the problem with that is that primates do not communicate with speech. They communicate with body language. The only time they look each other in the eyes with both eyes like this is when they're fighting over territory. If you do this, you're saying to them, back off, I want your home. It's very intimidating. Don't you agree? Well, they got nowhere to go, and so they grab the closest thing to them and they throw it at you. And we know what that usually is. If you want to get a good view of monkeys, and this does work, go to the enclosure slowly. They're very shy animals. Walk up to the enclosure, put your shoulder against the glass, and only look at them over one shoulder with one eye, like this. Okay, I know this looks stupid, okay? But after a whole day of people doing this, you're so happy that you want to be one of their group. I've done this in the morning and the evening. I've had the apes come right down to the front and look at me back right through the glass the exact same way over one shoulder. That'll work with the great apes and with the orangutans, too. Ahead on the left-hand side, you'll see the only existing exit of the zoo if you don't want to become a permanent member of our collection. That's where you want to get out, and we do close around 9 o'clock. Further down the road, we've got the children's zoo. Well, here's my advice. You guys have brought your kids, my best advice, leave about 45 minutes to an hour near the end of the day. Take your kids over there before you leave, because it's right near the exit, and let them play. Let them play. Let them play. And you get them really tired, and then you can go in the car and drive home in the quiet. It works every time. That's what my parents used to do with me, and sometimes it actually works. Straight down the road, you'll see the Wegaforth Bowling and the Sea Lion show out there, 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock. And also in between there, we do have the bug house. If you like insects, that's where you find all the cool bugs. I know, no, not a big, well, it's a lot better than what they used to do. They used to take people over to my apartment and turn on the light. And just kind of, I have a terrible bug problem in my house. Did you know this, Rachel? That actually, the other night, a cockroach the size of a football climbs up on my chest, wakes me up, and says, Chris, we've got ants. Some are going to be just between me and your driver. All right. Hold on tight as we descend the hill. What I want to do is look straight ahead as we go down the hill. You'll see a building with red bricks on the roof. That's the Clover Shaw Reptile House. If you like snakes, reptiles, and iguanas, they're all inside that building. You don't? And, you know, it's kind of a cool building. It was named after Lawrence Klauber. Lawrence Klauber lived here in San Diego. In his basement, he collected about 1,300 venomous snakes. And even though he's been dead for 20 years, he's still considered the #1 authority on poisonous, dangerous reptiles. Now, I don't know that much about it because I like snakes, really, but because my name is Christopher Klauber. Lawrence Klauber was my great-great-grandfather. Yeah, that's true. They called him the Snake Man, and they call me Zoo Man because I can duplicate every animal sound here at the park. I'm not kidding. A lot of times when you're watching TV or movies, you're hearing sound effects in the background. It's not the animals. It's actually me in a little booth. You know, take 2. Can you do a smaller one? Good. Okay. The first one was the elephant. That's the irrelevant. There you go. As we move forward on the right-hand side, notice all the beautiful foliage around the bus right now. It's gorgeous. You know, the plant life at the San Diego Zoo, even though we're not supposed to talk about dollar values, on our last assessment, it was valued to be worth over $100,000 more than our animals on initial purchase. It's true. The plants here are amazing. And one of the reasons why we do so well with our animals is we have the plant life growing here on the grounds to feed them with. We have all this bamboo all around us. Bamboo is for feeding what? Pandas. Wasn't that easy? Eucalyptus. We use that for feeding kubwa. Oh, you're too good. Try this one. Acacia. What animal? Acacia, right? These acacia.
Giraffe.
Giraffe. Very good. You guys. Okay, you get to move to the front of the bus. Wait, you're already there. Okay. On the right-hand side, you know, I said even if I couldn't see them, I'd talk about them. Tigers. There's an area up at the top. I know. I love watching the tigers. One of my favorite animals. Unfortunately, hiding up on the hillside. Wow! You see that? People on the street didn't even turn around. See that? Didn't even look. How you doing, folks? How are you? You see any tigers in there? No? You just staring at trees? Okay, anyway. What you wanted to
you know,
is come back where those guys are and stare at some trees. Or you can come back around 5 or 6 in the afternoon as the sun's going down. Tigers love it when the sun is setting. That's when their orange coloration helps them blend in with their surroundings. That's the best time that it actually works. My favorite marking on the tigers isn't something that you can even see from the bus when they're out there. It's, they have a white dot on the back of each ear. It's perfectly round and perfectly white. And we don't know exactly why it's there. We just have theories. Our big theory, we think it's so the mothers can keep track of the babies out in the wild. When the babies are running around in the tall bushes, they can actually follow the little white dots and keep track of their young. Now, what animal is responsible for more human death in Africa than any other animal? What is it? Hippos. Absolutely right. A lot of people think lions, but believe it or not, hippos, which are vegetarian, do kill more people. I'm sorry, they do. And they don't do it because they're looking for food. They're extremely protective of the young and highly territorial. Now, we have 2 of them here. You can see in the pond on the right, you see 2 little silhouettes. See those eyes right over there? And we'll move forward nice and slow for you guys near the back. Thank you, Rachel. You're doing a phenomenal job. No, thank you. Hippopotamus. They say hippos are great swimmers. Have you ever seen a hippo swim? They weigh 1.5 to 3 tons. They sink to the bottom like a rock, and they walk across the bottom of the pool. That's how a hippo swims. Their names in this enclosure are Otis and Funani. I'm not kidding. They like to name one English name, and then they'll have one African name. And they'll do that in 3 different enclosures at the zoo. So it's like over on the right, we've got and Steve, you know. Now, here's what, coming up on the left-hand side, these are bus tours that are actually not like yours. These are the people who are waiting behind you in line as they go by. Now, look how serious they are. Hello. How are you? Having a good time? How are you?
I did one of the most district numbers.
That's me, guys, by the way. Here's the next one. Look at this. And that's why we need a comedy tour. Did you see those people? Did you see how angry they were? What did we do? What did we do? Oh, by the way, that cricket sound, toughest impression I do. It is. Because I have to actually rub my legs together. So, let's move on. We're going to see if we can find some smaller primates. The rest of you that aren't laughing, this is a great opportunity to get into it. Just so you know. This will be the time for you to start relaxing and having a good time. Let's see on the right. Coming up. Are you getting enough stuff? This is going to go on for 55 minutes. I'm warning you now. Okay. Here we go. We have more lost people wandering around aimlessly. They don't even have maps. It's crazy. Let's see, on the right-hand side, through the bamboo, we're going to find little tiny monkeys. And because Rachel is one of our best drivers doing in a 35-minute format, I'm going to do everything I can to give her new information so she doesn't get bored. I love these. These are our Gwennins. Look, there's a Gwennin there. It was actually, there's no other name for that other than flashing us down there on the tree. Okay, you'll see down there closest to it. Little tiny one. Look, see on that little group of trees right in the front? So, yeah, there's one there too. Now, here's what we didn't know for all you guys that take tours all the time. Gwennins were proved to be smart enough to fish. It's true. Even though they got a brain roughly the size of a walnut, they're smart enough to go to a tree, pull a leaf off a tree, and put that on the surface of the water to lure fish closer, and then they pull the fish right out of the water. So yeah, the only thing missing is a six-pack, and we got the bass channel. Let's keep moving. Coming up. I'm glad you paid attention. Joke off in this. As they come around the corner, a lot of people ask us all the time here, and I know that, Rachel, you get this question all the time. Are the animals happy? Are they happy in the zoo? Honestly, why are you making fun of my boy? Why? Yes, not only are the animals happy, not as happy as this guy sitting here with a tattoo on his arm, but very happy. Okay, I'll see you in HR. But some of them don't even belong to us. Year after year, we had the same birds that showed up during their migration to the same exact spot. We just got tired of chasing them away. We said, okay, you win. You can stay. A majority of the birds to our left don't even belong to us. Those are migratory birds from across the United States. You'll see the regular flamingos out there, and you'll see the pink flamingos back there. Hey, Rachel, here's something new. Did you know that flamingo is a Portuguese word? Did you know this? Yes, it's true. It's originally pronounced flamingo. Yes, flamingo. It means red goose. Oh, no, I didn't grab you. You did not know that. That's true. It's true. Actually, it does. Well, when they fly, they make similar patterns in the sky. That goose make a little V pattern sometimes. But most importantly, they make sound very similar if you look away. Very similar to geese, and that's where they got their name. You see, it's not all jokes. We got real stuff on here. We also have the lesser flamingos, the lighter pink ones. And if you look down, more of our ducks there. And up on the hillside, thank you very much. We have more ducks on the bus. Up on the hillside to our right, what we do is we give you the stamp on your hand. You all got a stamp, right? The stamp gives you unlimited trips on this bus, but also on the express bus. Now, just to be serious here for a few minutes, this zoo is 120 acres, a lot of it's canyons, and the sun's out and it's hot. So what you want to do is take that express bus as much as you can. There are 5 different stops on that route, and all of them are located near stuff you actually want to see. The bus that's holding us up in front of us here, that is an express bus, and it's dropping people off at this sign coming up on the left-hand side. What you want to do is have them drop you off here if you want to go see the enormous birds of prey. There's birds up on the hillside called Harpy's eagle. Harpy's eagle have a wingspan of 7 to 9 feet, and they've got these huge claws on them. They're named after the harpies from Greek mythology. You know, the ones that were supposed to fly down and take your children away. They don't do that. They don't do that. They don't have to fly off with anybody. They have incredibly powerful claws, and what they do is they fly down and they crush the shoulder blades of smaller animals like sloth and monkey, and what they do is they'll just crush these bones here, and then they come back a few hours later, and then they have their dinner. So be looking for that when they come back later. No. They're in the enclosure. You'll be fine. You don't have to worry, man. You're Spider-Man. You don't have to worry. You just throw a couple webs down. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Well, I'll just keep talking. Whenever I have a break like this, that means I have an opportunity to do an impression. Let me see. Here's a kind of a fun one. You gotta listen carefully because it's very subtle. This is a pigeon from L.A. Pigeon from Los Angeles. The last part would be L.A. Okay, let's get... I think you guys go, I get that's cute. That's very cute. That's very cute. Here we go. This is stop number 2. There's a beautiful gray bird up there. It's our heron. Oh, isn't that cool? Yeah. Watching over the other birds. We have the saddle-billed storks back there. And way in the back, here's kind of a tough one. Look through the trees on the left-hand side. We have a matched set of Manchurian cranes. Now, the reason why I'm working so hard to get a view of them is because they are very symbolic. Whenever you go to a Chinese restaurant or Japanese restaurant, you'll see they always have those screens. There's always Manchurian cranes on them. The reason why is that they are the symbol of longevity of life and the longevity of love to the people of China. They live to be at least 40 years plus on an average, and they only take one mate in their entire lifetime. 40 years with one mate. That's like 8 California marriages. Very impressive. Those are the Manchurian cranes. You know, I am doing so well with half of you. As we come around the corner, you guys, what happened before you got on here? It's like, oh man. Oh, here's my favorite sign of this. I hope you got a chance to read this. On the right, it says, "For your safety, path not recommended for use by persons in manual wheelchairs." You see that? Now, wouldn't that be better if it was at the top of the hill? Probably a better place, and they don't have one there. All right, coming up on the left-hand side, we're going to drop it into a lower gear. Here we go. All right. On the left-hand side, Interstate 163. Home of the great American road hog. Follow that road north about 90 minutes. You'll be up in Escondido. That's where you find the companion zoo of the San Diego Zoo, the Wild Animal Park. For all of our members that are on the bus today, if you are a Zoological Society member, good to have you out, guys. We all kinds of new stuff. You get a buck off those big couch, the monkeys and things on them. Yeah, just like that. Show your membership card today. But because the members loved it so much, they brought back the butterflies that they had last year. Yeah, the big butterflies. You walk in there, millions of butterflies flying. It's beautiful. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. You want to check that out. Also, 4 baby elephants up at the Wild Animal Park. So if you're going to go, now's a good time. But, drink a lot of water. They always say, drink water. Just drink a bucket of water every 5 minutes. I think we're going water break. It can't be good for you. Oh, yeah, I'm just ready. This is the best I've ever felt. All this water. Wonderful. On the left-hand side, Interstate 163, as I mentioned, is one of my favorite stories from my mom used to tell me about 163. I'm not kidding. She said back when San Diego first started, they wanted to show with the city planners, they wanted to show them what our freeways would look like. So they brought them here. It's the freeway that goes right through Balboa Park. It's got pine trees. It's got eucalyptus. It's the most beautiful freeway you've ever seen. And they said, okay, fine. If the freeways are going to look like this, then build your freeways. And they got all the money, and then that's the last they've ever looked that good. That was the old baiting switch. Yeah, that was done by our freeway system. As they climb the hill, we got zebra, the only animal that we can keep track of by using a Scantron. The zebra. Have you ever seen someone do a price check on one of those? Price check, item, thin line, thick line, thick line, thin line. Nobody gets this joke. Thin line, thick. Okay, thank you. Zebra, are they black with white stripes or white with black stripes? What do you think? They are black with white stripes. Shave off or coat or undercoat is completely black, and their striping pattern is as unique as your own fingerprint. On the right-hand side, all these stock have one thing in common: great jumpers. They can jump at 13 feet in length and a height of 9 feet, but they don't leave here because they found out they don't like to jump on any stretch of ground that they haven't seen. They don't know what's on this side of the wall, so they don't go for it. If they come back later on, please don't tell them. On the left-hand side, let's see if we can find one of my favorite attractions. Here comes the polar bears. That was me. And that's right. It's time for water polo. And the polar bears always win. Now, where to begin? Let's get right into the arguments and the excitement. You know what's kind of cool is people will argue about anything. I've noticed that. Well, people used to argue that the grizzly bear was the biggest bear because some grizzly bears are actually heavier, but when you stack them up side by side, which is very difficult to do, the polar bears are bigger. They're about 10 feet on average. Now, the polar bears also have been well adapted to San Diego, and I'll be honest, we were very concerned about this. Let's face it, San Diego is the furthest thing from an Arctic region. How can polar bears be comfortable in our climate? A very good question. Here's what we did. We did with them what we do with everybody who shows up in California. We changed their diets. We cut all the fat from their diets, and their coats thinned down within a period of about a week and a half, and they've been comfortable here ever since. So comfortable that these bears and the other bears that I'm going to show you on our tour do not hibernate here at the San Diego Zoo. They stay awake year-round here because food is always available and the temperature is always right. Because this is a lighter side tour, I have extra time to give you extra information, and I love telling you this. Did you see the newspaper 2 weeks ago? They passed their hearing test. I'm not kidding. They got them to respond to tones, which means about 4 weeks ago, they had them with the giant earmuffs. I'm not making this up. And they were... Okay, I wish I was making that up. Congratulations, they passed their hearing. They have perfect hearing. Isn't that wonderful? I'm very happy. You know why? Because let's say hypothetically they didn't have good hearing. They're not going to make me climb in there and put a hearing aid on the world's largest carnivore. Okay. I don't know. What could we do? Well, we couldn't do anything. What could we do? That would be the last time. Look at that big pile of carrots. This is an amazing view here. Here comes another big controversy thing that's been going on with them for a long time. The indigenous people of the Arctic for a long time have said that polar bears were smart enough to cover up their noses. Have you heard the story? You see, when a polar bear comes at you out on the ice, it's got white fur and there's white snow. And the only thing that you really see of the polar bear coming towards you is the black nose in the center of their face. Now, the people who live around polar bears all the time have been telling scientists for years that polar bears are smart enough to walk up slowly on 3 legs while covering their nose with 1 paw. Now, we've never confirmed this, and there are people who still argue this. I personally think they're smart enough to do it, but I don't know why they would, because polar bears are known for great smell. They can smell things long before any other animals out on the ice. In fact, there's will be a hole in the ice, and they know to wait at that specific hole in the ice because they can actually smell a seal's breath when they come up for air within a mile. That's how powerful their smell instinct is. So your guess is as good as ours. The jury's still out on that. And those are the polar bears. Did you get a nice view? Yeah. Well, then thank Rachel. Rachel's kind of curious. Sometimes she'll stop it and she'll say, how much does he actually know about this? And to see how long we can keep him stopping. That's all right, dear. She's really enjoying it, actually. It's kind of fun. You're on a 35-minute tour, sometimes it sounds like tobacco walks there. 3,500 animals in 35 to 40 minutes. I'm not kidding. Tigers begin to see, and then we go down the hill. That's a little line, Mike. And the fish. Okay. On the right-hand side, one of my favorite animals, we've got some of our deer nooks, and just next door, we have a couple of our pigs. We've got pigs coming up. I love the pigs. Well, sort of. They're a variety of things. This is Jacoan peccaries. There's a couple of them with the hairstyle of Billy Idol. In the midnight hour, she cried more. Wow! How you doing, kid? Yeah, notice that the kid on the street has the hairstyle of the Jacoan peccary. That's right. We didn't even know that they existed. We thought they were extinct till about 1973, and there was a Dutch explorer out looking for rare monkeys. He spent his entire lifetime studying monkeys. He thought he was going to find a rare monkey, and he was out there in the jungle, and 2 Jacoan peccaries walked right across his path, and became known as the guy who rediscovered the peccaries. Gregory Peccary is one of them, the other one Olivia de Havilina. Don't get angry at me, I did not name them, and if you're curious, of course. Coming up, for you kids on the bus, I don't want to leave you guys out. Boys and girls, do they still read Dr. Seuss books to kids? Yeah, Dr. Seuss, when I was a kid, I read all the books. My parents read the books to me, and I loved them. The original Dr. Seuss, the actual Dr. Seuss, came to the zoo and walked through the areas that we're heading through right now. I'm not making this up. You don't have to believe me. You can look it up, I promise. And would draw the animals from this area. Look on the right and see if you can recognize the animal that inspired the star-bellied Sneetches. Remember that book? Some of them had stars, some of them didn't. It's kind of cool. These are Szechuan tacos. They're protected by the same laws that protect the giant pandas called an umbrella species. Yes. You didn't think I knew this stuff, did you?
Open that door.
Hey, you remember the old movie, The Jason and the Argonauts? Remember that? Yes, it was a stop-action film, Ray Harryhausen classic, right? We believe that this is the animal that inspired the legend of Golden Fleece. Yeah, it bestows immortality. Yeah, that's the closest you get to a golden fleece out in the wild. On the left-hand side, that's stop number 3, the closest stop that gets you to the elephant. There you go, one more for you. I actually spread those apart because my face gets completely numb. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a great time on YouTube. The Elephant Odyssey area here. This is kind of a before and after of the Pleistocene era. You can compare ancient animals to their modern ancestors. And you'll see coming up on the right, if I'm lucky, here comes our lions. There's a little keeper talk, so I'm supposed to be quiet as they go by. So I'm going to whisper. This is my seductive voice. All right, on the right, we've got a male lion. Female lion is closest to it. It's the same voice I use when I'm narrating Paul. He's approaching the cup. He's got the water. He's on the green.
Your lion.
Okay, back to the lions. All right. Male lion. They call him the king of the jungle. Worst title ever given to any animal. First of all, they're nowhere near the jungle. Second of all, they shouldn't call him the king. It's the lionesses, the females. They're doing the hunting, the killing, the child raising. They make it kill, grab the carcass all the way back to the male. He insists that he eats first, and they have the nerve to call him king of the jungle. Many of our drivers insist that the only thing missing on this guy is a remote control. On the right-hand side, let's look in here and see if we can find, a beautiful view of our Jaguar. Oh, I love this cat. And you're the first bus tour today that I've been on that we actually been able to see it pacing back and forth because it smells children nearby. Isn't that a gorgeous cat? Notice the rosette pattern on the outside with the black spots on the inside. This is one of two of our Jaguar. You know, have you ever been in a Jaguar automobile? They're beautiful, beautiful cars, probably the sexiest car you've ever seen in your life. And I always wonder if people who name cars actually know what they're naming the vehicle. For example, Jaguar, when you translate it directly into English, means she who kills on one pounce. Not exactly the best name for a car. Next to the Nova was the dumbest car ever. You guys who speak Spanish, you guys who don't speak Spanish, Nova in Spanish means no-go. Nova. Yes, it was the worst-selling car in Mexico, if you're curious. On the right there, you recognize all the Dr. Seuss plants and trees? Yeah, those are right out of Dr. Seuss. We have our, como se llama? Yeah, a lot of people here speak Spanish. How is your llama? Como se llama? How is your llama? Our llama is fine. That's a variety of llama on the right-hand side, actually called guanacos. People say, are guanacos llamas or llamas guanacos? Technically, llamas are guanacos. That's the wild form of the llama. And I gotta warn you, all of the llamas and camels, they all have one thing in common. They are great spitters, and I just want to caution you when you come back. When you see their ears come back, that means they're nervous. It's like cocking the gun. If a llama brings its ears back, it can get you within 16 feet. Don't stand around. Don't take pictures. Get out of there. Trust me. Trust me. Further in the back, you see a few of our elephants. Elephant walk. Everybody. All right. I gotta stop. It's gonna be in my head all day. Elephant walk. Who did it? Henry Mancini? Mancini? Oh man, you guys are good. All right. Let's talk about elephants because, I'm getting too much into the singing. First of all, this elephant that's turned around near the back of the bus, it's an African elephant, and you can tell because its ear kind of looks like a map of the continent of Africa. It makes it very easy. Asian elephants, the ones not giving us the best profile view, there's two of them, by the utility.
That's a great view.
That's a great view. Yeah, not our best view. I gotta admit that. Those are the Asians, a smaller ear and a large head. What I'll do is Rachel and I will get around the other side. We're getting such a nice view of these, though. It's almost time to get to hang out here. But I want to show you the other parts of it. We have other elephants coming up, I promise. It's kind of like a car wash for elephants. You'll see, you ever been to a car wash for your car? Okay, imagine it much larger, and that's what it would look like coming up on the right-hand side. This is where our elephants, they have weight scales built into the floor so they can keep track of how much they're eating. Yeah, this is a very, very elaborate area here on the right-hand side. And my favorite part is throughout the day, they take care of their feet. They give them manicures and pedicures, and all the female elephants get together, and they complain and whine about how men won't commit. Okay, all right. I am a little off there. I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm fine. I'll stop that. As we move ahead, Rachel, you're having a ball. These are all the things that she would love to say on a regular tour, but never has the time and is worried about her job. So, we have a prehistoric chicken. I don't know how that would help you unless you were ever attacked by a prehistoric chicken. But we have one out there. Okay, let's see. Utilitries. I love the utilitries. We actually gave our builders a few parameters to work with. We said, here's what we want. We want something the elephants can lean up against without knocking over, which is saying something, because those utilitries have to go in the ground about 70, 80 yards, because the elephants are very powerful. Also, we want to make sure that the elephants get a little bit of shade, but most importantly, we are from San Diego, California. We want piñatas. Notice we have the hanging piñatas out there. And this is how elephants say hello. They'll actually stick their nose onto the belly of another elephant, and then they put the nose near the eyes. Oh, yeah. Rachel did that to me when we first met. She actually put her nose right on my stomach. It was the cutest thing. I'm her friend. That's how she says hello. Who am I to argue? Yes. All right, here's my favorite cool thing about elephants. Elephants have their own built-in body temperature regulators. Here's how it works. You know how your car has a radiator in the front with all the tubes that go back and forth, and the air goes through your car radiator and it cools down the water of your car, keeping your whole car cool. Well, that's how the elephant's ears work. Slow down, Rachel. I'm running out of air. What happens is the elephants will fan their ears back and forth. And their ears is the only thin skin of their entire body. The rest of their body is 2.5 to 3 inches thick in skin. And what they're doing is they're fanning their ears back and forth, and they're quite literally they're cooling down the blood of their bodies. They have all these extra blood vessels in their ears, so that way they can keep their bodies cool out in the wild. Oh, and here's a new scientific trivia thing for you, Rachel. Did you know if you line up all your blood vessels side by side with each other, you die? Did you know that? Anyway, you were paying attention. Now, one of my favorite things about elephants, we found out that elephants, they are communicating with each other without our knowing about it. You probably heard about this if you watch the news. Basically, they have hearing that enables them to hear things our ears could never hear. We knew that, but what we didn't know was that they're giving off sounds to each other that we couldn't hear. We had to actually have sound recording devices out here posted, and people in our own department, Mindy was one of the people who did this, and they recorded them when supposedly they weren't making any sounds, but they are communicating with each other, making low-frequency infrasounds to attract each other and to warn of danger. They have always been communicating back and forth without our knowing about it. A very new discovery with the elephants. Are you getting enough new stuff? Good. Yeah, you're all seeing amazed that I actually know something about this. I thought you were just a goofy little clown boy. Okay. As we move forward here, we've got some of my favorite animals. These are camels. My most recent discovery with camels. Have you noticed the people who smoke camel cigarettes and actual camels make the same sounds in the wild? No, it's true. It's like, how you doing, Roy? It's exactly the same. Disgusting, but true. This is a one-hump camel on the right-hand side. Not to be confused with actually two-hump camels. The dromedaries are the single-hump camels. You know what's cool about camels is that their bodies are really well designed to surviving in heat. In fact, people used to think that they hold water in their hump because at the end of a desert run, their hump begin to hop down, they flop over one side or the other, but actually it's their body fat. They're working off their body fat, so the hump begins to flop over like that. And the neat thing about camels is that they're so good at regulating their own body weight and body fat that camels are one of the few animals out in the wild that give low-fat milk to their young when they're nursing. It's less than 2%. It's true. Did you know that? You see, she didn't know that. Is it trying to stunt her with new stuff? I want to show you why I work at the zoo. I know why Rachel works here. It's that nose thing. But only zoo people will put up with that, honestly. There's just not a lot of difference between a transient and a naturalist when you get right down to it. We spend a lot of time alone. We talk to ourselves. We barely watch. All right, let me show you here. I can say that. I am one. Don't be picking on me, back row. This is what the San Diego Zoo is all about. And I'll be serious here just briefly because, honestly, this is why I work here. The San Diego Zoo is a non-profit organization which is reflected in Rachel's and my paycheck. The non-profit structure means that we're run by donors. We have a lot of our members here, and we're very happy that you're here and donating money to the zoo. And the reason why that's a good thing is that we are beholden to our donors, and we're also beholden to the fact that we're here for the animals. You probably noticed around the San Diego Zoo, other than the lighter side tour, we don't have a lot of shows. We don't have our animals doing a lot of tricks and standing up for treats and stuff like that. The reason why is our animals are here to have their numbers increase so we can eventually send them back out in the wild for themselves. Now, that's very different, okay? Other parks that I'm not supposed to mention, SeaWorld, do not work that way. So this area over on the right-hand side is probably the best example for that. You know, the California condors, which we're looking at here to our right, during the 80s, you probably remember there was only about 20. I'm not making that up. 20 total. That's it. Some people said you could count them on one hand. That's how few there were. And I'm very happy to announce, as of last week, I actually did research on this. It turns out that there are at least 330 of them right now, and half of them have been reintroduced back out in the wild where they belong. That's our job, and that's what we're. Thank you, two of you. I'm very happy. And it's the only reason I work here. And I was on cable for a while. I had my own nature show, called Animal Instinct, and I did this all the time. But when I came back, this is the one place I want to work because of the way that we're run. Hold on tight. You'll see a nice sign coming up on the right. That's our stop number 4 for the express bus. And notice how expressive the people are who are waiting for it. Hello. How are you? Hi. How's it going? If you walk through that area, that road is called Horton's Way, and our first natural food store is inside there. It's like we have very exciting natural food. It's all organic, and you can tell that it's really natural because it tastes like dirt. All right, coming up. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist, but it's true. It's funny because it's true. Here we go. Looking on the right-hand side, I'm looking for our meerkat. We're still looking. None of those sounds have anything to do with meerkat. But I gave it a shot. Don't worry, we have them coming up again by the rhinos. You want to see them there, Rachel? Let's do that then. And for the folks on the upper level, Rachel is doing a phenomenal job of trying to get us near the shade for you guys, because we know that you're upstairs baking like a lizard on a hot rock. We try to warn people about the sun. This is just for you guys in the lower deck. You want a cell phone? You're missing a great thing. She doesn't care. And she's in the front row. I can't hold my face like this forever. She just put away her cell phone. You know, I've actually had people who were like 2 feet away from each other texting. I was always wondering, what do you say? I